So I just got into Final Fantasy XIV for the first time and have been playing just over 24 hours. If you're looking to get into this game, this video is perfect for you because I'm going to give my honest thoughts for the first 24 hours of gameplay. We're going to talk about the pros and cons of this game and overall impressions as someone who's completely new to this game and community. For those who are more experienced and want to know exactly where I'm at, I just beat the 3rd Primal in A Realm Reborn, and I'm a level 45 Dragoon. I have no other classes or jobs made whatsoever. So what kind of game even is this? This is an MMORPG where you can create your own character and choose from tons of different classes to complete the story with, do dungeons, quests, raids, and a bunch of other stuff. This is one of those games where you're going to play for a really long time and get immersed in. So if that sounds good, then keep watching because I have a lot to say about it. So keep in mind that I'm not somebody who has played this game prior or really knows much about it at all. I've only been playing for about 29 hours total, and I want to talk about the first 24 hours of gameplay as somebody who's new to the game. So we're going to talk about the pros and cons in the game, and we're going to talk about all the pros first. All the things that I like about the game that I've learned and noticed within the first 24 hours. The first thing I want to talk about is the storyline. So I'm going to be completely honest. Usually, I don't care at all about stories in any game whatsoever, to be honest with you. Unless it's a game that's specifically like for the story. Honestly, I really don't care most of the time. But in this game, honestly, I found myself getting so shocked and actually invested into these characters to the point where I even got goosebumps at one of the points in the story. Like, it's actually so good. And everybody who tells me about this game that I've met tells me that I'm not even at like the crazy parts of the story yet. Like, I'm still in the early like first expansion and I'm already invested, which I find so insane because I've played so many different games and I really like usually don't care about the story, or it's something like predictable or whatever, or it's basic. But honestly, even in just A Realm Reborn, in this first expansion that I'm experiencing right now, I'm invested and I really like these characters, and I find that so shocking. So that's a big pro for me. So if you're somebody who actually like loves story and loves lore and stuff like that, then you're gonna fall in love with this game, I promise you. So the next thing I want to talk about that's a pro is the community. So every single person that I've met in this game and I've seen through Discord or just, you know, through Twitch and stuff like that has been so welcoming and so wholesome and so positive. It's actually insane. And not only that, everybody who I talk to, it almost feels like like it's too good to be true. It's crazy. Like, everybody that I've spoken to has just been so uplifting and so like helpful. Like, they all just want to like help you and like be there and show up next to you and stuff like that. It's actually insane. Like, I can't tell if people are just being nice to me in particular, but everybody says this. Like, all those people I say, like, oh, is this how the community really is? Like, is everybody just like nice? And they're like, yeah, like everybody's just really nice, especially to the newer players. They're all just like really nice to them. And I honestly found that so heartwarming because it's kind of crazy. Like, if you isn't that like the perfect situation? You know, if you're new to a game, wouldn't you want to have like a really nice community to help back you? So that's another positive thing about this game, and I just really appreciate that. So if you're somebody who likes getting involved in communities, or even if you don't want to get involved in any communities, just know that the community that you're playing in, the game is very wholesome and it's very nice, and everybody's, you know, on that positive vibes, and we love that. So the next thing I want to talk about is FOMO in this game. So what is FOMO? FOMO is the fear of missing out, right? So what does that mean in these video games? So let's say, for example, you don't want to play this game anymore, or you want to take a break, and you don't play for like 2 weeks. You're not really going to miss anything. It's not like if you don't play for 2 weeks, all of a sudden you're irrelevant, or all the progress you've made is kind of just useless. Like that's just not a thing in this game. It's very easy to just drop the game whenever you want. The devs of this game really respect the player's time, and it's very, I think, wise for the devs to kind of structure their game that way because it develops a very loyal community. So back to the whole community point, I've noticed that the people who are invested in this game are like very loyal to this game, and that leads me to the next pro is the devs and the love that the community has towards the dev of this game. So I've only been playing for about a day's worth of time, and I have nonstop been hearing about Yoshi P, the dev of this game. Everybody loves him and everybody respects his work for the game, and I find that so awesome. It's great to see that this community, their dev team, has a great relationship with the actual games community as well. Honestly, I think that's just the perfect situation, and it's great to see, honestly. So this next point honestly, it might not be relevant for a lot of people, but it's something that I personally really like, and it's the cosmetic system of this game. So the glam. How this game's cosmetics works is it's all free. So any look that you want, there's so many different looks. You could either craft it or get it from a quest, and you get these items called glam prisms. And these glam prisms, they allow you to turn whatever, you know, armor piece that you're wearing into something called a glamour, and you can use those glamour pieces to kind of cover whatever you're wearing, and you can look however you want. And it's all free. You could either craft it or get the items you want from quests. There are ways that you could pay for items in the Mog station, which is kind of like their shop. Most players have like reassured me that like nobody really does that. Like nobody really pays for items. Like there is an option that you can like buy sets of items, and you could get your different looks that way. But most people just get quests or do dungeons and stuff like that for the items they want, or even craft it and just use that as their glam. So I find that really awesome. It's not very like predatory in terms of like trying to juice the players' wallets for as much as they can. It's very, very, very flexible, and you can look literally exactly how you want. So I've only been playing for a day, and I look like this, and this is honestly like very close to how I want my characters to look like, and I find that so cool. So the next thing is group gameplay. So this is something that I'm a fan of. A lot of games people want to play by themselves, and you can play by yourself in this game. I do like how all the dungeons and stuff are kind of structured in a way where you have to play with your friends. So this game is honestly designed that you can play with your friends as well, which I really like. So if you have like a group of friends or something like that, it's really easy to get into it with everybody, and for everybody to contribute and not be useless, because everybody has a role to play, especially in dungeons, and you're all important. And I really like that a lot. So I'm a DPS class as a Dragoon. It's not like I could just solo carry. Like if I don't have a tank or a healer, like I'm just useless. You know what I mean? Or if tanks and healers don't have DPS, like, you know, they're probably not going to have enough damage to clear the dungeon anyways. So yeah, I love how everybody is important to the raid, and it's not like one person can carry. Everybody needs to play their part, and it's really fun that way, honestly. So that leads me to my next point is there's no really like carrying in this game. So how these dungeons are structured in this game is everybody gets reduced to the level of the dungeon. So let's say I'm going to enter a dungeon that's level 30 and I'm level 50. So it doesn't matter if I'm level 50 or what I'm wearing or anything like that. My stats and skills are all going to get reduced to as if I was level 30. So it kind of keeps everything relevant in the game. It's not like you reach a point where all these dungeons are just completely irrelevant and you don't need to do them anymore or anything like that. Or if you want to play with new friends, you just kind of, in a way, ruin their experience by just carrying them and blowing everything up for them, and you don't have to do anything. So I really love that. It makes it so that everybody has a very similar experience playing the game, and it's very nice. For me personally, really tipped me over the edge for trying this game, and it's the ability to swap between classes. So as you can see here, I'm a level 45 Dragoon, but if I had any other class, you know, created, I can literally just press the button. I could just click on them, and I will completely swap to that class in an instant. So there's no concept of having to start all over again on a new character or anything like that, or having to completely re-gear up and spend months or even over a year on getting another class to where you were before. It's really, really seamless, and it's really, really fast. So let's say, for example, we were doing a dungeon and I needed to be a healer, even though I'm not a healer at the moment. I can literally just press, I don't know too much, let's just say Sage. I could just press Sage and I'll just be the healer for that party, like just like that. So I love how flexible everything is, and the game is structured in a way where you can try everything without really losing much or anything at all, to be honest with you. And that was a really big reason as to why I started playing this game. My friend IRL was trying to get me into it, and he told me about this, and I found that so insane, because I'm just used to like, oh, like once you like pick one thing, like, okay, that's your main, you're kind of locked in. Where in this game, it's kind of like that's not really a concept. You kind of just can play whatever you want, and I really love that. So another pro to this game is throughout the first 24 hours, I always felt like I was doing something. It was never too monotonous. It was never like I was just waiting for something, or I was just standing there like my brain is just AFK and I'm not really thinking. It was always just like I was doing something. There was something to do, something to kill, somewhere to go. I was always moving around, and it always felt engaging, and I really love that about the story. And let me reiterate, I'm still in the first expansion, and everybody who I've talked to that's way further ahead than me tells me that this first expansion is the most boring one in the game, and I'm this engaged. So I can't wait to see what the future ones are. And the last pro that I thought of that I have written down is the HUD layout. So this is kind of small, but it's something that's really important to me because I love customization, and this game pretty much gives you full customization for whatever you want. I know this looks like a lot, but if you just take it by part, you can change your HUD to be however you want. So if I wanted to move my hotbar here, and if I wanted to change even the hotbar shape, if I wanted to be like 6x2, I could do that. I could literally just do that. And now they're over here. I could change all the keybinds. I could add more hotbar slots if I wanted. It's really, really awesome. And you could have this game exactly how you want it. So moving on to the cons, I know we talked a lot about pros, but there are some cons that can be pretty daunting for a lot of players and were things that I was complaining about through the first 24 hours of gameplay quite a bit. And the most important and biggest thing that I complained about the most was running. Within the first 24 hours and the first expansion of this game, you're going to be running around a lot. It can feel pretty slow, to be honest with you, and I understand how that's a pretty big turnoff to a lot of people, but at the same time I also understand that it's only in the early game that it's slow, because everybody has reassured me like it's gonna get faster, you're gonna be able to fly, it'll get faster, don't worry, it's not gonna be as much running around. And I believe them, but the first week or the first 24 hours of gameplay is very, very important for a lot of people, and it could be a turnoff to most people because obviously first impressions are the most important, and that's the first impression I got from this game is, damn, I'm running around a lot, and I'd rather be like doing something else than running around a lot. Like, you're just going back and forth between the two different points so many different times. And it can be pretty annoying, to be honest with you, like just straight up. It wasn't annoying to the point where I'm just gonna drop this game, I don't want to play anymore. It does get faster if you can stick through it. Like, it does get faster and faster as you play. Yeah, just keep that in mind. At the start of this game, it is gonna feel slow with the running around, but it does get faster, so that you have something to look forward to, and that's nice. Another con is the learning curve. So this can be seen as a con, but also not really. So just like any other game, this game has a learning curve. It's nothing that I really played before. There's a lot of different, like, just like logistically, like just how the game works. Like, there's just a lot of different buttons you got to press. There's a lot of different like shortcuts you got to learn, a lot of different interactions you got to deal with, different ranges, like stuff like that. Like learning all your character skills, your combos, how it works, about crits and all these different items and all these different like UIs and stuff. Like, there's a lot of stuff, a lot of information to take in, with me. And my advice for that is just give yourself the time to learn it. You don't need to learn everything all at once. Even if you learn just like one new thing a day, like that's still a lot. Like, you still learn something that you're going to remember forever. And that's the way I'm taking it. Like, I'm still learning stuff. Again, I've only been playing for around 24 hours of gameplay. I've managed to learn so much just within this short amount of time. So who's to say, who's to know how much I'm going to learn in another month or another year, right? So yeah, just give yourself the time to learn everything, and eventually you'll learn it. And the last con that I wanted to mention that I thought about is the repetitiveness of the early game. So I found myself doing things that I was doing a lot. So for example, like back to the whole running thing, like I was running around a lot, or I was kind of killing the same monsters in the same way a lot. And what do I mean by that? Kind of just like doing the same 3 rotation of skills over and over and over again, which I found pretty repetitive. Naturally, that's kind of how the way games are at the start. Like, you kind of don't have a lot of stuff unlocked, so there's really not much you can do besides use the same skills over and over again. So that's just one of those things that's like part of the early game. I don't think it's really a problem. It's just one of those things you got to keep in mind, like, oh, you're still early into the game, so you're going to be doing a lot of the same things over and over again, but eventually it'll get better. And that's about it for my cons. As you can clearly tell, I am a big fan of this game. The pros definitely outweigh the cons by a large margin. I don't think the cons that I've noticed have really deterred my experience too much. I still love this game, and it's crazy for me to say that because I've only been playing for like a few IRL days, but I'm like so invested into this game already, and it's awesome. Like, just straight up, it's awesome, and I definitely recommend it. But there are a few things you want to keep in mind. This is a paid game, so you could get the free trial, which lasts until you're level 60, I believe, and that means you can get every single character to level 60. So there's a ton of gameplay that you get for free just from the free trial, like hundreds of hours just for free if you want. But there's a lot of restrictions as well with the trial. So if you want the full game, it is a subscription based model with $15 a month. You could buy multiple months in advance, and it would be like cheaper per month. So there's that. And then there's also expansion. So if you want to like buy the latest updates, you have to buy if you want to get the latest updates, for example, Endwalker is the current expansion, the latest one that's out, you would have to pay for that, which is another $40, and it gives you all the expansions at once, which, you know, you do have to pay for the game. I'm not saying this is a con, this is just something to keep in mind. It isn't a complete free game to play, but the progression is free to play. Everything within the game itself is free to play. It's not like you can pay to win this game, and what you're paying for, you're definitely getting every single dollar worth. Like, the game is structured very, very well. The community is very, very, very strong and useful and positive. You're getting a really fun game, to be honest with you. So I think it is 100% worth the subscription, 100% worth paying for the expansion, stuff like that. That's my overall thoughts just within the first 24 hours of gameplay. If you like this video and you want to see me learn more about Final Fantasy and stuff like that, please consider subscribing and follow me on Twitch. I stream pretty much every single day, and I'm playing Final Fantasy a lot right now. So if that's something you're interested in, stop by, say hi, and let me know if you want more Final Fantasy videos or what kind of videos you want to see. I'm open to hearing everybody out, and I appreciate you guys watching. Thank you so much.